Hello YouTube. So I unloaded, actually I did end up unloading at Philadelphia. What happened, I was stopped last night in a New Jersey Turnpike service plaza, not too far north of exit 7 on the turnpike here. So what I did, I had my alarm set. It's 9 a.m. The appointment was at 11 a.m., the delivery appointment. It was 35 miles away. At 9 a.m. I looked out the window and everything was snow covered. Traffic wasn't moving much. Snow was coming down pretty hard. So I decided, and I looked on my iPad and I looked up Pennsylvania, ended up finding the Pennsylvania, they have a website with a jillion traffic cameras in the Philadelphia area, and so I looked at a number of those in different parts, and there wasn't very much traffic out. I think a lot of people didn't even go anywhere today, even though it was a Thursday. So I decided I would just stay put. That was the best thing that I could do, was just to stay put. So that's what I did. Sent the company a message, sent my fleet manager a message on the Qualcomm, and she said, fine, okay, no problem. And so a little bit later, I don't know, I guess it was upwards of 1 o'clock, everything was kind of melting, and the traffic was moving pretty good, and the traffic volume had picked up quite a bit, and so I decided, well, it would be a good idea, maybe I could go ahead and make the delivery. So I ended up having my fleet manager call the place to verify that it was open, and at first they couldn't get through to anybody, but then they did. They sent me a message and they said, well, if you can be there before 4 p.m, and this was around 2, if you can be there before 4, they'll unload it. And so I went ahead and left the service plaza about 2 o'clock, and I got to the place probably about 3:15 or so, and kind of the guy at first said he wasn't sure that he'd be able to unload it because he had a lot of people that were calling in, not able to come because of the snow, but then he did unload it. So pulled inside the building. It was one of the, these docks. It's a very old building, obviously, where you pull inside and you back into the dock, and they unloaded it. And so the next load picks up in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and then it goes to Atlanta, Georgia, or actually Kennesaw. So I knew I'd have to have the trailer washed out, so I came Bordentown, New Jersey. There's a Petro truck stop here with a Blue Beacon truck wash. I went ahead and came over here first to get the trailer washed out. So in the meantime, I decided that there's more snow that's kind of on the way. Right now it's not snowing in this area. I've got, by the way, I've got a couple of little videos that I'm going to insert in here. So we'll be inserting those videos. And so you can kind of see when I got here, it was really raining hard. It was about 34 degrees, but it was really raining hard, and there was actually a couple of times where there was even a little bit of lightning, and once there was some little thunder. So I decided, that it's not snowing here yet, but it is in Lancaster. I was looking at the radar, and I'll show that. Also show that in the little video. I tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and insert those videos right here. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this, and then we'll insert those videos, and I'll be right back. So here I am at Bordentown, New Jersey. It's Thursday evening, about 7:41 Eastern Time, and it's 34 degrees, and currently there's a fairly intense rainstorm going on. It's supposed to convert back over to snow, but beyond my rain-covered windshield right there, really in the center of the screen, that's a Blue Beacon truck wash right there. And so I'm going to just go ahead and maybe pan that on around, and maybe you can make out it says truck wash. It's lit up there. It says truck wash along the top of the roof. And we'll go ahead and just pan around, and you can see that there's piles of snow left over from the snow earlier today, and you know, plus they had some left over from before. And so it's just really messy. It's a slushy, mucky mess, and it's supposed to convert back to snow. Now it's 9:14 p.m. Eastern Time. The rain has stopped. However, there's still no snow. And I don't know how well that's going to show up. We're looking at the My Radar app on my Nexus 7 tablet. And you can see that sort of the area that I'm in, around the Philadelphia area. Actually, I'm at Bordentown, New Jersey, but I'm actually located where that dot is. If you can see the dot, that's where I'm at. So in any case, at Bordentown, you can see that there's no snow here yet, and it may be a quirk, and it may start a little bit later, but it's actually snowing over at Lancaster, where I'm supposed to be heading next to pick up the next load. Okay, so we watched the two videos that I made, the one with the rain, when the rain was coming down, and then the one as it looks just a couple of minutes ago, where it's not raining in this area. It's not doing anything, but there's no, it probably will snow here, but it doesn't really matter. The load that I'm picking up in Lancaster is pretty easy. It should be a pretty easy thing. It's, even if it does snow, and it is snowing in Lancaster right now, it's going to warm up. Tomorrow is supposed to warm up to as much as 41 degrees. And, of course, Pennsylvania will be out there kind of cleaning the roads. Of course, with all the rain, it washed all of the chemicals away. So once, they'll have to get out there again, all over again, just from scratch, because it was really raining hard around here. So, and then the load that it doesn't have to be there until, today was Thursday, so we got Friday, Saturday. Doesn't have to be there until the 16th at 6 a.m. I can get it there sooner than that. Today was the 13th, so I've got the 14th and the 15th to go 700 and something miles from Lancaster to PA to Kennesaw, Georgia. Should be able to do that without too much trouble. So there's really no point in trying to go over there this evening and possibly get caught in a snowstorm, and it's just easier to stay here and do it tomorrow. So in the last, I recorded a podcast last night. An audio podcast at truckertompodcast.com. If you've never listened to my podcast, I've been doing audio podcasts since late 2004, and there's been a lot of people that have kind of came and went, and I've stayed with it, kind of slowed down with it a little bit, but I still enjoy doing it. I personally, the reason I do it is I've gotten a lot out of it as far as being able to kind of clarify my own thoughts and, sort of put my thoughts into words, etc., etc. So in the audio podcast I recorded last night, I was talking about sort of the direction that the society and the greater world is sort of going in, and the problem is that too many people, have been sort of freed, quote unquote, freed from their morals, put little quotes around that, freed from any moral constraints, and so therefore what's really happened is that they're enslaved to evil, because there's only two choices. You either are motivated by good, the good You can call it God or good or whatever, but you're either motivated by that, and the only other alternative is evil. And that's really why evil exists. If you read your Bible, the Bible says basically that God created evil so as to put us as human beings to the test. We as human beings are the only creature on this earth that we've been given a choice. We can either, every animal, every creature, every tree, whatever, dolphin, cow, dog, you name it, it has no choice. Monkey, it has no choice but to be what it is. It has its instincts, and it has, a cow is a cow, it can't be anything else. A cat is a cat, it can't be anything else, so on and so forth. A dolphin, dolphins have a fair degree of intelligence, so do dogs. They have to be what they are, that's it. That's all. Can't be anything different. Human beings are different. We have this sort of a latent, you could call it sort of a latent identity, or a latent set of ethics, but this identity that this potential identity that we have as human beings it's not forced upon us. You pick your favorite animal. They have their instincts, and they're aware of their environment. They're not conscious. They're not aware in the same way that we're aware that human beings can potentially be conscious, because we become conscious of our own existence, and therefore we're conscious of our motivations, what motivates us, so on and so forth. An animal can't. Your dog is aware of its environment. You're part of its environment, and it's not aware that it's aware. So we have a choice as human beings. We're sort of a creature that has a choice. If just imagine for a moment that you're God, and that you're creating, you can create all these marvelous creations, and you're even able to create life. But the problem is that you can create these, all kinds of animals and plants and so on and so forth. You can create these things, but the problem is that you program them. You give them their instruction set, and the instruction set being instincts and so on and so forth, and being able to learn from the environment and what have you. You give them that, but they're basically like, the little wind-up doll that would say, they just do what they do. They follow their instruction set. Human beings have the potential to actually appreciate existence. Dog can't do that, a cow can't do that, dolphin can't do that, butterfly, anything you can name, they cannot appreciate the fact that they exist. They cannot appreciate the beauty, and so on and so forth, that's been created. They cannot appreciate the creation that they're part of. Human beings have that potential. We that's one of the things that differentiates us. But we don't have to, because what good would it be if we all had our instincts and we had our God-given identity? What good would it be? Because we'd be like the wind-up doll that says, I love you, I love you, I love you. And what good would that be? So we have to be, God gave us the gift of a choice, and of course the choice has to be terrible. Evil must be the opposite. It has to be, in order for it to have the choice to have any meaning. And so we have this choice, and we can, we can screw each other up. There's this concept of being born in sin, and that's simply people misunderstand it, and and there's this idea that sin is different vices or whatever. And people don't even really understand what sin is. But the idea that you're born in sin, Adam, if you go back to the Adam and Eve story, Adam was created perfect. He was in perfect communion with his Creator. He had, in other words, he had an identity that was coming straight from his Creator, and there wasn't anything that was getting in the way of that. There weren't any problems in his mind that were getting in the way of that until he could not resist the temptation. God put them in the Garden of Eden. You can eat of anything in here, in this Garden of Eden. You can eat of anything except this one thing, the tree of knowledge of good and evil. You can't have the fruit. That's the one thing you can't have. Everything else you can have. That's fine, but not that one thing. And so the serpent, evil, approached Eve, and she ate of the apple, and then she offered it to Adam, and Adam went ahead and took it. And then when God approached Adam afterwards, basically he started making excuses. The woman you gave me, she made me do it, etc., etc. And so we as their offspring, and there had to be an original pair of human beings, we as their offspring are born, close to innocence, but not perfectly innocent. And so we're born as human beings, we're born with a proclivity to sort of want to play God in our own minds, and that's the problem. That's what Adam could not resist that temptation, and he had to find out where it went. And so we're given the opportunity. We're born in this state of sort of being halfway between heaven and hell, with a choice. And so we have a choice, and we can kind of find out this life. I believe is we can find out where the evil leads, where it goes. And then we can be, and that's where the whole concept of salvation comes in. It's not about going to church. It's not about singing songs and smiling at each other and so on and so forth. That has nothing to do with it. And people, and that's just not good enough. Going to church and being, and smiling at your, the other people around you, and kind of putting money in the collection plate. It's all for naught. Waste of time. That's not good enough. And in fact, you've got to be very careful, because those things, you can use those things, sort of imbibe religion and the words about the truth and so on and so forth. You can use those in such a way that it makes you worse. It's all about your mind, what goes on in your mind, and your character, and the source of your identity. And if you have to really be a searching person to even understand what I'm saying. And if you're not a searching person, then you think that I'm just, you're reacting to my words. You're having knee-jerk reaction to my words, and the words that I'm speaking right now should be able to, if it's in you, it should awaken the same spirit that's in me could potentially be awakened in you. And it doesn't, and it's not necessarily just me. It could be anything. If you're a searching person, in other words, if you're a really searching person, then you have the potential to, you can find the truth anywhere, because it's there. The truth is there, but you have to really want to find it. And no one can do it for you. You have to want it. But people misunderstand what this existence is all about. They so misunderstand it, and I've come to the conclusion a lot of people don't. That's the last thing they want. They really don't. I've always thought that people wanted to know the truth. They say they want to know the truth. I've heard people say that 1,000 times. They want to know the truth. But when it comes right down to it, a lot of people don't. And but it's judgment, so on and so forth, and sin. They're they're really not what you think they are. And but in any case, in the podcast last night, I was talking. I kind of maybe went off the deep end a little bit, but I was basically saying that if things keep going on the way they are, we're headed for a real problem. And I think a lot of people sort of feel that, and they've expected that problem to have already happened, and in a sense it's sort of happening gradually. But, there's a lot of people that believe that we're just, at some point that, society's going to have a complete breakdown, and so on and so forth. And it may be more of a gradual thing. You go by degrees. You go to downtown Detroit, Michigan, or you go to, any inner city anywhere, and you've already got the zombies walking the streets, the criminals walking the streets, people beating you over the head and robbing you, and so on and so forth. So that already exists. You just go to the like inner city ghetto type places, and that's already there. You go to the right neighborhoods, and like right here where I'm at, Bordentown, New Jersey, not bad. Go to certain parts of Philadelphia, and you would probably be lucky to emerge with your life. And that's not even an exaggeration. Generally speaking, you've got to go to the evil. The evil won't come to you, physically. You've got to go to it. There are exceptions to that, of course. But, you look at the history of countries, pick your country. Nazi Germany is really a great example because it was documented. It was, we've got all kinds of films and recordings and so on and so forth, and it happened in the 20th century, so we know what happened. We've got all kinds of documentation of it. So it's a great example because it's well documented, and you saw what happened once it proceeded to a certain point. The portals of hell were opened, and what came out. And I can tell you what comes out. When the portals of hell are opened, what comes out? What are the Ten Commandments? So it's going to be the opposite of those. Raping, robbing, murdering, stealing, so on and so forth. That's what's going to happen. And it's going to be on a massive scale. Because if people don't have this God-given self-constraint that I'm talking about, this God-given identity, if they don't have that, then it's all about groupthink. What does the group want? It's all about groupthink, and that is a bottomless pit. Evil comes through that. The groupthink is evil. Evil is in charge of it, whether you like that or not. I don't really care. You believe it or not, doesn't matter. One of these days you're going to find out. So, but it's a bottomless pit that we kind of mess around with. You're sort of playing footsies with the devil, and it really is a bottomless pit. So, but in any case, this is all very, very simple if you can understand it, but you've got to want to understand it. And it's the wrong side of our ego is what really makes this stuff so incomprehensible, and we're in various degrees of denial, and in that state of denial, it becomes very difficult. It becomes impossible because there's things perceptions are just completely screwed up. Perception is missing, and so people are, in other words, people are blind, and they're sort of groping around in the dark, and they think, well, they wonder what's wrong with human beings, or why would God create evil, and so on and so forth. And you know, it's easy to understand if you want to, but you've got to want to, and you know, it's up to you. It really is up to you, and it's up to me as an individual. And it's not something I can't give it to you. I can't give you understanding. You've got to find it yourself. The same way with me. I have to find it myself. So anyway, got that off my chest. And well, we're about pushing. We're going to be a little over 20 minutes because I'm going to insert those other two little pieces of video. And as this goes on, I'm going to probably begin to record other little snippets of video here and there, because this really does seem to be working pretty well here on the phone, and then being able to, you know, kind of assemble it, render it, and then upload it pretty quickly. So I'm pretty happy with this. This is so far this is working out pretty well. So in any case, from Bordentown, New Jersey, I'll catch you later.